Hello, my name is HQ of ITSMYRACEX. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hello. We back in we back in the house. As promised, I came back to talk about the second part of the Obama-Trump presidency, right? And this is about Donald Trump. You know, although the footage I was going to use, I don't want to take the chance and use the footage that I have. So I pieced together some things and came to get some clarification myself, to give my own report, give the facts regarding the Trump presidency, right? So we're going to start on his second term with his first term, which is where we started with the Obama saga. We start with Trump's first term, right? And we're going to start with his third State of the Union address. So the State of the Union is one of the most important moments in American history, right? Democracy. It comes straight from the Constitution. It requires the president to regularly inform Congress and the public about the condition of the country. This speech is not a campaign rally, although Donald Trump has used it as a campaign rally. I don't understand why he didn't get it, but he's never gotten the fact that it's not supposed to be a campaign rally. It's not supposed to be propaganda. He still has not gotten the fact that it's not supposed to be propaganda when he speaks about the state of the country. It's meant to be an accounting. When the nation stands, where the nation stands, what challenges we face, what the president believes the Congress should work on next. So tonight, expectations matter when we have State of the Union addresses. So we're going to start from Donald Trump's third year in office, his third State of the Union address. Okay. This is the third State of the Union address. Okay. And we have to be clear. We have to be clear on the things that were happening at that time. Okay. This speech here means the president is not governing with a unified Congress, because he had a divided Congress because he lost a lot of his people in the Senate and in the House. Okay, because of the midterms election. It was significant because the midterms are often referendum on a sitting president. In this case, voters delivered a decisive rebuke of Donald Trump's agenda. Democrats at this time, 2019 State of the Union address, Democrats ran the House of Representatives while the Republicans still had the Senate. This meant the president didn't have a unified Congress. Oversight had increased. Compromise is required, whether he liked it or not. This speech then is not about promises anymore. It's about results. And the country is no longer judging what might happen. We're judging what already has happened. Okay. These are the facts. Okay. Congress is divided. Trust between the parties is low. The public is exhausted from the things that the president has been doing. So when the president speaks, the country we're not looking for applause lines. We're looking for leadership. It looks for someone who understands that governing means more than winning fights and arguments. It means resolving these problems that we have in our country. So the State of the Union should always answer basic questions. Can the president work with the Congress? Can he move past his campaign stand into addressing the whole nation? Can he recognize that power in our system is shared, not owned? Because the State of the Union isn't about one man's ego. It's about the health of the country. The president serves the people, Congress represents the people, and the Constitution belongs to all of us. So this is where we're at with the president.
Members of Congress, the First Lady of the United States, and my fellow Americans. We meet tonight at a moment of unlimited potential. As we begin a new Congress, I stand here ready to work with you to achieve historic breakthroughs for all Americans. Millions of our fellow citizens are watching us now gathered in this great chamber, hoping that we will govern not as two parties, but as one nation. The agenda I will lay out this evening is not a Republican agenda or a Democrat agenda. It's the agenda of the American people. Many of us have campaigned on the same core promises to defend American jobs and demand fair trade for American workers.
So you all notice as this speech goes on, you notice that the president at this time, excuse me, the president at this time is becoming or wants to be bipartisan. He wants to get along with the people. He wants to get along with the Congress. He's had an unprecedented Republican House, Senate, and presidency. He's had that for 2 years. So he's gotten all of the things that he has wanted to do. The things that he did in this current presidency, he did back then. Tax cuts for the rich, deregulation, tariffs that put us on the road that we were. He did the exact same thing this time that set us on the path the same time then. But you notice as he speaks in this State of the Union, completely and utterly just regular, everyday, ordinary president who wants to have bipartisan support, because now he knows he needs bipartisan support because the Congress has changed with the Democrats in power in the House. Unlike how he's talking today in this presidency. But continue.
To rebuild and revitalize our nation's infrastructure, to reduce the price of health care and prescription drugs, to create an immigration system that is safe, lawful, modern, and secure, and to pursue a foreign policy that puts America's interest first. There is a new opportunity in American politics if only we have the courage together to seize it.
Now, the women have white on. You wonder why the women have white on? Because it was a visual statement of solidarity among the women by the Democratic lawmakers. White was deliberately chosen to recall suffrages that women have suffered around the world. It was mostly by women Democrats, some Republican women, signaling political opposition and empowerment. It became a media event emphasizing the visual contrast to the inauguration's overall tone and attendees. Most of the women there were white. Most.
Victory is not winning for our party. Victory is winning for our country. This year, America will recognize two important anniversaries that show us the majesty of America's mission and the power of American pride. In June, we mark 75 years since the start of what General Dwight D. Eisenhower called the Great Crusade, the Allied liberation of Europe in World War II. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, 15,000 young American men jumped from the sky and 60,000 more stormed in from the sea to save our civilization from tyranny. Here with us tonight are three of those incredible heroes. Private First Class Joseph Riley, Staff Sergeant Irving Locker, and Sergeant Herman Zaitchik. Please. Gentlemen, we salute you. In 2019, we also celebrate 50 years since brave young pilots flew 250,000 miles through space to plant the American flag on the face of the moon. Half a century later, we are joined by one of the Apollo 11 astronauts who planted that flag, Buzz Aldrin.
Well, we're gonna skip ahead. So we're gonna skip ahead because I think these are all the things where he wants people to stand up and X, Y, and Z, mostly. Okay. So let's keep going.
Vibrant, and our economy.
Yeah. This is a different Donald Trump. He became very, very bitter after this first term because they threw everything they could at him. Okay. They threw everything they could at this president. Okay. The impeachments, everything. This is 2019, but Donald Trump didn't do himself any favors because he brought a lot of this on himself, maybe by inexperience, maybe by the fact that he's just a smarmy human being, but he brought a lot of this upon himself. At the beginning, when Donald Trump got into office, all the best Republicans, all the best operatives, all of the best people who knew how to run government said, we don't want this Republican president to fail, so we're going to get into the administration and we're going to help him. And then we started to see people come out of the organization one by one. He doesn't want to listen. He wants to do what he wants to do. He's determined to do X, Y, and Z. One person after one person after one person. This right here in this speech is the best speech this president, I'm going to give him A1 credit. This speech was the best speech that he could have until it really dawned on him that they were out to get him because of the things he had done and said. This was one of the best speeches he got. I'm going to give him credit.
America is again winning each and every day. Members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. That sounds so good. Our country is vibrant and our economy is thriving like never before. On Friday, it was announced that we added another 304,000 jobs last month alone, almost double the number expected.
See, I'm giving him credit right now because this was the time where he didn't know that, he didn't know that they were going to come for him because he didn't know that he was doing the wrong thing. President Trump really stumbled into doing things. It wasn't a matter of him knowing that he was committing treason or something like. He didn't really know. He just did what he did. He thought he could fumble. He thought he could barge through it like a bull in a china shop. And he found out that he couldn't do that. So right now, this speech right here is the most conciliatory, nice speech that he could have made because shit hit the fan with him. At this time frame right here, before this speech, he had instituted that travel ban, pulled us out of TPP, started drilling for more oil. There was a tax cut. There was a tax cut bill, just like the big, beautiful bill. He got another one in. Deregulation. He did deregulation. He did tariffs. He attempted to repeal Obamacare, but he got rid of the individual mandate, and that individual mandate is what started ACA and Obamacare to fail. That was the beginning of the failure of Obamacare when the Republicans repealed the individual mandate. They wanted to get rid of the Obamacare from day one. So the Republicans have been sabotaging ACA from the beginning. Okay, from the beginning, they denied Obama his Supreme Court picks. They denied Obama his Supreme Court picks, so he couldn't pick anything. So Trump got 3 appointed Supreme Court judges, which tilted the judiciary, tilted the Supreme Court into the conservative favor. And he appointed a whole bunch of conservative judges all around the country, which actually reshaped the judiciary. So this is what happened. Family separation policy, where the southern border, they were taking kids and separating kids from the family. This is when that happened. Trump tried to get rid of DACA. DACA was finna get took off the table. Foreign policy, North Korea foreign policy. Syria, we were having problems with Syria. Jerusalem embassy got moved. We withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal. Then the Russia gate started. FBI Director James Comey was fired. Stormy Daniels' investigation happened. All of these things hit Donald Trump all at once. Some of the stuff he stumbled into because he didn't mean to, but some of the stuff he was a smarmy human being, and this is what happened. Well, I'm going to give him his props for this speech, because this speech was all American. You can tell from this presidency, from the last presidency, his speeches have changed. He was all about America in this speech. Now it's about revenge. Changed 130 to 80 degrees.
An economic miracle is taking place in the United States, and the only thing that can stop it are foolish wars, politics, or ridiculous partisan investigations.
This is when they started the investigation. The Mueller started the investigation. The the Stormy Daniels, the Russiagate, all of this started to happen at this time.
If there is going to be peace and legislation, there cannot be war and investigation. It just doesn't work that way. We must be united at home to defeat our adversaries abroad. This new era of cooperation can start with finally confirming the more than 300 highly qualified nominees who are still stuck in the Senate, in some cases years and years waiting. Not right.
Remember, this speech is in 2019, February 2019. Okay. When they started the Russiagate was in 27. Russiagate began in 27, right after he came into office. Okay. Russiagate was regarding special counsel Robert Mueller was appointed in May 2017 to investigate the Russiagate meddling of the 2016 election with coordination with the Trump campaign. Robert Mueller, if you read the Robert Mueller report, the Trump campaign colluded or helped to a certain extent the Russians to interfere in the 2016 election. That's why Robert Mueller was appointed, so they could see if that was the truth. So because James Comey didn't stop it or didn't interfere with it, and he wasn't loyal to Trump, that's why FBI director was fired. James Comey was fired. He later admitted in an interview that Russia was in his mind when he fired James Comey. So he wanted James Comey to do something to stop it, and James Comey didn't. So this is why James Comey was fired, right? But later on, after the speech,
the Senate has failed to act on these nominations, which is unfair to the nominees and very unfair to our country. Now is the time for bipartisan action. Believe it or not, we have already proven that that's possible. In the last Congress, both parties came together to pass unprecedented legislation to confront the opioid crisis, a sweeping new farm bill, historic VA reforms, and after 4 decades of rejection, we passed VA accountability so that we can finally terminate those who mistreat our wonderful veterans.
so as you all can see, Donald Trump is at his best. Donald Trump is at the top of his game. This is the best speech I've seen from this president. I'm giving him his flowers. I'm giving him his kudos because he had no idea what was coming his way. He had no idea what was coming his way. This is a speech that happened in February 2019. July 2019, Donald Trump, what was it? What prompted that? Donald Trump called up because we found out at that time that Joe Biden was going to run for president. We knew at that time in 2019 that Joe Biden had intentions of running for president. So July 2019, Trump calls up Zelensky and tells Zelensky, I want you to find dirt on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and the laptop. I want you to find dirt on Joe Biden. This is when we found out that Joe Biden was running for president, right? I need you, Trump called Zelensky, I need you to find dirt on Biden and his son. And in exchange, if you don't come up with any dirt, we're going to stop aid to your country. We're going to stop the aid to your country. Now, little did President Trump know that that was illegal and it was impeachable. Nobody found out about that phone call, I guess maybe a month or two later. I'm not sure when they found out. But the House opened up an impeachment inquiry 2019 September. The phone call was made in July to Zelensky, and the House opened up an impeachment inquiry in September. This speech is before any of that happened.
And just weeks ago, both parties united for groundbreaking criminal justice reform. They said it couldn't be done. Last year, I heard through friends the story of Alice Johnson. I was deeply moved. In 1997, Alice was sentenced to life in prison as a first-time nonviolent drug offender. Over the next 22 years,
she was, I don't know whether she was a kingpin or she was somebody like that. And this is one of the first people that he pardoned. And she was, I don't know whether she was a drug kingpin. She was something like that. And he pardoned her first. One of the first ones that people said, oh, hell no. People paying to get pardoned.
She became a prison minister, inspiring others to choose a better path. She had a big impact on that prison population and far beyond. Alice's story underscores the disparities and unfairness that can exist in criminal sentencing and the need to remedy this total injustice. She served almost that 22 years and had expected to be in prison for the remainder of her life. In June, I commuted Alice's sentence. When I saw Alice's beautiful family greet her at the prison gates, hugging and kissing and crying and laughing, I knew I did something right. Alice is with us tonight, and she is a terrific woman. Terrific. Alice, please.
Yeah. So we're going to skip ahead because this is when he starts giving people kudos and shit like that. So, no, we
officers to control its
Okay.
Girl administration has sent to Congress a common sense proposal to end the crisis on the southern border. It includes humanitarian assistance, more law enforcement, drug detection at our ports, closing loopholes that enable child smuggling, and plans for a new physical barrier or wall to secure the vast areas between our ports of entry. In the past, most of the people in this room voted for a wall, but the proper wall never got built. I will get it built.
As I said, this was the best speech that this president made, and I'm giving him his kudos before he knew what was going to hit him. Okay. I actually have the transcripts from the blackmail that President Trump did to Zelensky, which got President Trump impeached. There's a transcript of it. There's a transcript of it, right? But, you know, we don't need to read that here, but there's a transcript of the whole talk, okay? Of the whole talk of what, when, and how. But this whole presidency was fraught with bullshit that happened. And I get it. This is his first presidency. He didn't know. So I looked over it like that, but it still got him impeached. Right? And from the beginning, his administration signaled a willingness to wield power, but he wasn't bitter about it. He became bitter after they did what they did to him. He became bitter. But this was a downfall of his own making. What a smarmy human being. I just had to stop and say that. What a smarmy, calculating asshole. And I don't understand how you Texas people even put up with it, because he don't give a damn about y'all in that damn state, because he don't do nothing for y'all.
This is a smart, strategic, see-through steel barrier, not just a simple concrete wall. It will be deployed in the areas identified by the border agents as having the greatest need. And these agents will tell you where walls go up, illegal crossings go way, way down.
But the wall never got put up because your Congress never wanted it to be put up, and you had a divided Congress. See, this was only the beginning. So throughout 2017, 2018, 2019, the pattern emerged. This administration officials, aides faced scrutiny, foreign contacts, campaign-related conduct. National Security Advisor Michael Flynn resigned for undisclosed contacts with Russian officials. Robert Mueller's investigation referred Donald Trump to prosecution. They found evidence of the Russia collusion. They found evidence of it, not of Donald Trump personally, but of some of his aides. If you look very closely, or you remember, or you can look, a lot of people got sentenced to prison and jail time that worked with Donald Trump back then. So when people say Donald Trump is not guilty, yes, he is guilty of these crimes. People went to prison and jail behind all of these things. Okay. They went to prison behind these things. There's no refuting, there's no disputing that. And the people who put him in prison were Trump appointees. And Trump is going down the same route that he did, even worse route than he did in 2016, all the way to 2020. He's going down the same route, except it's worse. And it's worse. And we understand that this person is too old to even think about doing X, Y, and Z. But he's going down the same route, the impeachment route. But maybe he's smart enough not to do things to get himself impeached. We don't know. No, they don't ask themselves about that. They don't ask themselves about Pence. Why didn't you ask Pence to be your vice president again? Because you led an army, you led a big, gigantic group down there to hang Mike Pence. I wouldn't want to be your vice president again either if you led a crowd to hang me because I didn't collude and change the electors that you wanted me to. I wouldn't be your vice president either.
San Diego used to have the most illegal border crossings in our country. In response, a strong security wall was put in place. This powerful barrier almost completely ended illegal crossings. The border city of El Paso, Texas, used to have extremely high rates of violent crime, one of the highest in the entire country, and considered one of our nation's most dangerous cities. Now, immediately upon its building, with a powerful barrier in place, El Paso is one of the safest cities in our country. Simply put, walls work and walls save lives. So let's work together, compromise, and reach a deal that will truly make America safe. As we work to defend our people's safety, we must also ensure our economic resurgence continues at a rapid pace. No one has benefited more from our thriving economy than women, who have filled 58% of the newly created jobs last year.
And you know why? This is a totally different Donald Trump. This is a reasonable Donald Trump that people can get behind. This was a reasonable Donald Trump until he got into office now. Now tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel. Okay. Black Wolf, we have been over this. We have been over this time and time again. Donald Trump knew he lied about the election being stolen. Why is it that goofies like you don't seem to get that the president lied about the election being stolen? And y'all just sound goofy when y'all say the election was stolen. The election was not stolen. The president, your president, Donald Trump, knows it wasn't stolen. You know why? Because in every trial that people who worked for him went through, they went through trials. Every one of them admitted that Donald Trump knew the election was stolen. They spoke with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump knew the election was not stolen. That's why I can't. Some of y'all eat chalk. Some of y'all eat chalk and charcoal. I get it. There's court documents that say Donald Trump knew it was stolen. Court documents that says he knew that they were stolen. Sure, if you want to call it TDSS, you can, but it still don't change the facts. It don't change the documents, okay?
You weren't supposed to do that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You see how happy and conciliatory and all of the things, even the Democratic women are getting on board with Donald Trump, because this was the Donald Trump that people thought was okay, and he was easy to work with, would be easy to work with, would be able to talk about until they came for him. This was the Donald Trump that we wanted and needed and wanted to stay there. At the end of his presidency, he was a little wonky, but we still X, Y, and Z. This president, no. This president is totally different from this president right here.
Very much. All Americans can be proud that we have more women in the workforce than ever before.
That's why you see Democratic women standing up, because Donald Trump was championing women working, championing women in the workforce. That's why you see them doing that. This was him reaching out. Now you see he's not reaching out. In this term, it's Democrat, lefties, terrorists, Antifa, it's all that other garbage. He wasn't doing that in his first term. I got 77 people in here. Do I have 77 likes? 95 likes. Do I have likes in the chat? Y'all need to hit the like button. Y'all need to hit the like button. I'd appreciate you. Came into my door. You knocked on my door, came into my door, and none of y'all know how to ring the doorbell and give me a greeting and say hi. And the hi is the like button. And nobody should be giving me any negative comments or negative buttons or negative not likes, because I haven't said and done anything that would be negative or considered negative. Just beg for money. I don't beg for money. You want a comment read, then you put a super chat out there. You appreciate the content, put a super chat out there. Okay? Everybody can hit a like button. That's free. It don't cost nobody no money. Do I look like one, Kim Park? Do I look like one? No, I don't. So stop asking dumb questions. Some of y'all just ignorant. I don't even see how y'all getting no pussy. Just ignorant for no reason. It ain't difficult at all. Not at all, Jesse Marco. Not at all.
Don't sit yet. You're gonna like this.
See, Donald Trump is being nice. This is the Donald Trump that we liked when he got elected. This was the Donald Trump. Y'all, everybody can see that this Trump right here is a different Trump from what we got. Okay, this is the difference. Everybody can see the difference in this. That's why I played it, because this is a completely different Donald Trump.
And exactly 1 century after Congress passed the constitutional amendment giving women the right to vote, we also have more women serving in Congress than at any time before.
This is when the country was at its most. When the country was at its most ready to move the country forward. No extreme moves, no extreme cutting, no what is it called? No identity politics, no white men are being hashed out or thrown out, or ignored. It was none of that. It was a country that was trying to move itself forward. And Donald Trump was at his best. I'm going to give him his flowers. I'm going to give him his kudos for this speech right here. This speech was a speech that put everyone on the same path until they found out about that damn phone call. Yeah, wow. Come on, y'all, hit that like button. I need the like button hit, please and thank you. I appreciate it. I do. If you have something to say and you want to say it on the screen, hit the cat. No, what is it called? I very rarely say that. What the hell is that thing called? Super chat. Yeah, hit super chat if you want something read. If you appreciate the content, I appreciate the super chat. It'd be amazing, amazing, amazing. Hit the like button, please and thank you. Y'all see that? Y'all have not seen that since. You have not seen that since. Them cheering like this for Donald Trump and his speech. As I said, this is a speech that we liked, and we then had a inkling for Donald Trump. Okay. And you got Democrats standing up saying USA right along with this president.
That's great. Very great. And congratulations. That's great. As part of our commitment to improving opportunity for women everywhere, this Thursday, we are launching the first ever government-wide initiative focused on economic empowerment for women in developing countries. To build on, thank you. To build on our incredible economic success, one priority is paramount: reversing decades of calamitous trade policies. So bad. We are now making it clear to China that after years of targeting our industries and stealing our intellectual property, the theft of American jobs and wealth has come to an end.
That could have been true. It could have been the beginnings of once he thought he had everybody on his side, then he started to go just get buck wild with it. Maybe that was it. We don't know.
Therefore, we recently imposed tariffs on $250 billion of Chinese goods, and now our Treasury is receiving billions and billions of dollars. But I don't blame China for taking advantage of us. I blame our leaders and representatives for allowing this travesty to happen. I have great respect for President Xi, and we are now working on a new trade deal with China. But it must include real structural change to end unfair trade practices, reduce our chronic trade deficit, and protect American jobs.
See, as you can reflect on this period, right? It's essential to recognize the sequence of events. Yeah, a whole bunch of Allen, a whole bunch. Actions led to consequences. Firing the FBI director led to obstruction of investigations. Pressure on foreign governments led to impeachment. Hush money payments led to campaign finance prosecutions. Okay. Defiance of the oversight led to lawsuits, historical precedents on congressional authority. Each decision that this president made, each deliberate step was a building block in the narrative of his accountability. This is not a story about just his part. It's a story about the preservation of the Constitution, the enforcement of our law, the principle of no individual, not even the president of the United States, is above accountability. The lessons are clear, the stakes are real, and the precedent is lasting. We can't allow that. As citizens, we are tasked with the vigilance of holding our people accountable. We are tasked with understanding the chain of actions and events and the consequences. Okay? It is what it is. This is the beginning of the downfall for this president. But I wanted to, when he was normal, when he was everyday normal president, willing to be talked to, willing to compromise, this is him right here. Then it went south.
Another historic trade blunder was the catastrophe known as NAFTA. I have met the men and women of Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, New Hampshire, and many other states whose dreams were shattered by the signing of NAFTA. For years, politicians promised them they would renegotiate for a better deal, but no one ever tried until now. Our new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, the USMCA, will replace NAFTA and deliver for American workers like they haven't had delivered to for a long time. I hope you can pass the USMCA into law so that we can bring back our manufacturing jobs in even greater numbers, expand American agriculture, protect intellectual property, and ensure that more cars are proudly stamped with our 4 beautiful words, made in the USA. Tonight, I am also asking you to pass the United States Reciprocal Trade Act so that if another country places an unfair tariff on an American product, we can charge them the exact same tariff on the exact same product that they sell to us.
See, this was when Donald Trump was America first. This when you could see everything he was doing was related to America first. Now it's not like that. We can see. But this, he didn't know that they were about to hit him over the head with the impeachment inquiry because he hadn't done he hadn't done it yet. He did it in July. They started to impeach him in September 2019. So right now, you don't see the bitter look on his face. Some of the policies they didn't like. Of course, we don't like some of the policies. Some of the policies that he did. Okay. There was nothing wrong with some of the, there was wrong with his policy because he's done the same policies now. Tariffs, big bill that didn't help the lower class, didn't help anybody in the middle class. He's done all of that same thing. Except in this particular picture, he's not bitter.
Both parties should be able to unite for a great rebuilding of America's crumbling infrastructure. I know that Congress is eager to pass an infrastructure bill, and I am eager to work with you on legislation to deliver new and important infrastructure investment, including investments in the cutting-edge industries of the future. This is not an option. This is a necessity. The next major priority for me and for all of us should be to lower the cost of healthcare and prescription drugs and to protect patients with pre-existing conditions. Already as a result of my administration's efforts in 2018, drug prices experienced their single largest decline in 46 years. But we must do more. It's unacceptable that Americans pay vastly more than people in other countries for the exact same drugs, often made in the exact same place. This is wrong. This is unfair. And together, we will stop it, and we'll stop it fast.
This is the difference between Trump's first term and second term. Trump's first term was marked by that unconventional leadership because he had never been in the White House. We never had a TV personality person in the White House. It was constant media attention, frequent clashing with the Congress, courts, and members of his own party. Him and Mitch McConnell did not get along. He focused on immigration restriction, tax cuts, deregulation, and reshaping, the courts, including those 3 Supreme Courts that he got. The first term was controversial because many of his actions stretched what we thought a president should do, stretched his presidential power. But he's gone even further in this term, okay? The constant political battles he sometimes had slowed down any kind of progress that he wanted to have. They couldn't do anything with infrastructure, healthcare. They repealed Obamacare and got that mandate took away, thus trying to destroy or the beginnings of the destruction of Obamacare. And the foreign policy was way off kilter, taking us out of TPP, Paris Accord, all of these goofy things that he tried. This unpredictability also caused international uncertainty, domestic division, which some people argue this is where the weakening of the trust in our government came from. This is when the world started to look at us like we were crazy. Okay, this is what happened. Donald Trump is what happened because he started to weaken our friendships, our allies. He started to do all of those things in his first term. And this is why we became the weak nation that we became. Weaker. We became weaker after he became president.
I am asking Congress to pass legislation that finally takes on the problem of global freeloading and delivers fairness and price transparency for American patients, finally. We should also require drug companies, insurance companies, and hospitals to disclose real prices to foster competition and bring costs way down. No force in history has done more to advance the human condition than American freedom. In recent years, we have made remarkable progress in the fight against HIV and AIDS. Scientific breakthroughs have brought a once distant dream within reach. My budget will ask Democrats and Republicans to make the needed commitment to eliminate the HIV epidemic in the United States within 10 years. We have made incredible strides, incredible.
Yeah, but what happened to the USA aid? You can't just eliminate it here and then not have to help eliminate it across the world, because you all got rid of USA aid. So therefore, things are going to just accelerate and people are just going to die. So that's not putting America first. As you can see, he's asking to be bipartisan. He's asking for bipartisan help. He's asking for the Democratic help. He's not asking for that help now. It's a whole nother ball game. This is the problem. It's a whole nother ball game. This president was conciliatory. This president was reasonable. This president was bipartisan. This president was a totally different Donald Trump than he is right now.
Together, we will defeat AIDS in America and beyond. Tonight, I am also asking you to join me in another fight that all Americans can get behind: the fight against childhood cancer.
Now, you notice that he got rid of all of the cancer. He got rid of all the research for cancer, research for adult cancer. He got rid of all of those things in his second term. He got rid of all of those things. But if you look at his term now, or compared to his last term, all of these things that he's saying, he is eliminated from doing. All of these things that he is saying, he either changed his mind or he was lying. We don't know what happened, but all of the things he said have changed. Because right now you have eliminated all the things that help with cancer research, children cancer research. You've eliminated all those things. You cut the funding, the grants, you cut all of that stuff. So now kids with cancer, you don't need no help with kids with cancer?
Joining Melania in the gallery this evening is
You don't know what he got rid of, Pat Yeager. You don't know jack shit. That's the problem. Y'all think y'all know what he did. He getting rid of cancer, getting rid of all of that research kills people. Either he was lying then or he was lying now. Which one is it?
a very brave 10-year-old girl, Grace Eline. Every birthday,
Okay, let's move along. Yeah, let's move along. Is he going? He looking up and giving somebody? Okay,
Governor of Virginia.
here we go.
Let us work together to build a culture that cherishes innocent life.
Yeah, somebody wrote his speeches. But he would have told him that he didn't want to say it if that was the case. Okay, Somebody wrote a speech, but that's how it is with all presidents. Their speeches are written. But he probably wouldn't have said that if he wouldn't have wanted to. Now, what kind of person is writing his speeches right now? It's wild. That is wild to me that you, Pat Yeager, don't see that your president hung out with pedophiles, but you're willing to believe that all Democrats are corrupt, but you ain't willing to believe that your president knows pedophiles or hung out with pedophiles. That's wild to me. No, you see, that's the thing. When you talk, I don't believe a thing you say, Pat Yeager, because you don't acknowledge the bullshit that's on your side. When you start acknowledging the bullshit on your side, then we will believe you when you talk about Democrats being corrupt. That's for everybody in this audience. If you can't call out your president for the bullshit he does, then don't talk about what the Democrats do. We don't believe you. You have no credibility, specifically when you don't know how to call out the bullshit on your side. That's it. If you don't know how to call out the bullshit on your side, stop talking about the bullshit on our side, because we don't believe you. You're just talking.
And let us reaffirm a fundamental truth. All children, born and unborn, are made in the holy image of God. The final part of my agenda is to protect American security. Over the last 2 years, we have begun to fully rebuild the United States military with $700 billion last year and $716 billion this year. We are also getting other nations to pay their fair share. Finally.
That don't even make sense, Patrick Yeager. We knew Biden was we knew Biden when we knew he was goofy. We acknowledged that he was goofy. See, that's the difference. We acknowledged that Biden was goofy when we found out he was goofy. Did you acknowledge that your president is in the Epstein files when we see pictures, when we got evidence? Are you admitting that? See, don't talk about your hypocrisy is wild. You're the one that has hypocrisy. State two things that Donald Trump has done that is shitty. Name two things. I want to hear it. Name two things. Name two. We're still waiting on two things that you MAGAs can come up with that Donald Trump has did this shitty that's on the same scale as Biden being goofy. Y'all, come on. I want to hear it. Otherwise, shut the hell up. Because your hypocrisy is showing. If you can't come up with two, I can come up with two on my side. I can come up with two. The pullout in Afghanistan was shitty. Biden should have did it better. He fucked up. You see how I admit that my president did one thing that was shitty? You see how I acknowledge that? He was goofy when he was goofy, and they should have told us that he was goofy when he was. See? You see how I acknowledge that my president did 2-3 shitty things? Let's see how many 2-3 shitty things y'all say about y'all president. Let's go. I'm waiting. Hypocrisy much. I'm waiting.
For years, the United States was being treated very unfairly by friends of ours, members of NATO. But now we have secured, over the last couple of years, more than $100 billion of increase in defense spending from our NATO allies.
Goofy quantum. We said your president, not Biden. We said your president. What's the 2-3 shitty things your president did? Stop talking about Biden. We're talking about your president. Your president.
They said it couldn't be done.
They can't do it. They're in a cult. They can't do it.
As part of our military buildup, the United States is developing a state-of-the-art missile defense system. Under my administration, we will never apologize for advancing America's interests. For example, decades ago, the United States entered into a treaty with Russia in which we agreed to limit and reduce our missile capability. While we followed the agreement and the rules to the letter, Russia repeatedly violated its terms. It's been going on for many years. That is why I announced that the United States is officially withdrawing from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, or INF Treaty.
Iran nuclear treaty. This is when he did that. No, she could. No, don't worry about the shitty language. Don't worry about the shitty language. They shitty language is fine. As long as you don't attack me. You can use the language as long as you don't attack me. I still waiting for those shitty examples y'all supposed to come up with about y'all's boss. So don't remove them because of language. Remove them if they be disrespectful. If they're using the same language, that's fine. I don't care. I don't mind you using, because I cuss all the time.
Perhaps
Yeah, because I do it all the time, and it would be hypocritical if I did it and they couldn't do it. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, as long as it's in the context of, you know what I'm saying, as long as it's in the context of what we're talking about, that's fine. That's fine. Because then we would be hypocritical somewhat. Okay, if we did that, so it's okay. It's fine. As long as it's within the context of what we're talking about. That's all.
we really have no choice. Perhaps we can negotiate a different agreement, adding China and others, or perhaps we can't, in which case we will outspend and out-innovate all others by far.
But they impeached him twice. I'm giving him kudos for this speech, but they impeached him twice. December 2019, they impeached him because it was an abuse of power. Charges were an abuse of power, pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden, while withholding the military aid, and obstructing Congress, refusing to cooperate with the House impeachment inquiry. So this is why he was impeached the first time. He was acquitted by the Senate in February 2020. Okay. Even though he was guilty as hell. Here's the thing. President Trump committed the same problem. He committed the same problem, I want to say within that same time frame. He committed another worthy of impeachment thing, but most people haven't heard of that one. I'll tell you about that one in a minute. He committed another thing.
As part of a bold new diplomacy, we continue our historic push for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Our hostages have come home. Nuclear testing has stopped, and there has not been a missile launch in more than 15 months. If I had not been elected President of the United States, we would right now, in my opinion, be in a major war with North Korea. Much work remains to be done, but my relationship with Kim Jong-un is a good one. Chairman Kim and I will meet again on February 27th and 28th in Vietnam. Two weeks ago, the United States officially recognized the legitimate government of Venezuela and its new president, Juan Guaido.
So let's remember, this was one phone call got Donald Trump impeached. Another phone call was also on the books that Donald Trump made. A representative called Vindman, he publicly called in November 2025, this year, he publicly called for President Trump to release the transcripts of another phone call with a foreign leader. He says America needs to hear that phone call as well. That phone call involved Trump and the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman after the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. Vindman, the Congressman Vindman, and 37 House colleagues argued the contents of that 2019 phone call, whether it should be made public for transparency and accountability. Okay. They said the phone call was shocking. They're calling for the release of the full transcripts of Trump's 2019 call from Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He says after he reviewed the phone call while on the NCS, the American public and the family of Jamal Khashoggi deserve to know what was said in the conversation, especially giving questions about how the Trump administration responded to Khashoggi's murder. Okay. We would love to see what was shown. We would love to see what was said on that phone call between Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Donald Trump, because it's widely reported that Mohammed bin Salman ordered the hit on Khashoggi and Donald Trump let it get away, or Donald Trump let him get away with it. My thing is this: why did you let it get away with it when you could have had him over a barrel for this killing of Khashoggi? Why did you why would the phone call be shocking? Why? This is another phone call. We don't know whether it's an impeachable phone call, but it should be released to the public.
We stand with the Venezuelan people in their noble quest for freedom, and we condemn the brutality of the Maduro regime, whose socialist policies have turned that nation from being the wealthiest in South America into a state of abject poverty and despair. Here in the United States, we are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country. America was founded on liberty and independence, and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free, and we will stay free.
Well, the thing is, most of the country has decided that they don't like the direction this country is going. Most of the country has decided that. So it is what it is. We're not going to sugarcoat it. It is what it is.
Tonight, we renew our resolve that America will never be a socialist country. One of the most complex set of challenges we face and have for many years is in the Middle East. Our approach is based on principled realism, not discredited theories that have failed for decades to yield progress. For this reason, my administration recognized the true capital of Israel and proudly opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Our brave troops have now been fighting in the Middle East for almost 19 years. In Afghanistan and Iraq, nearly 7,000 American heroes have given their lives. More than 52,000 Americans have been badly wounded. We have spent more than $7 trillion in fighting wars in the Middle East. As a candidate for president, I loudly pledged a new approach. Great nations do not fight endless wars.
What? Are you kidding me? This is a totally different Donald Trump. Ain't we in endless wars now? Ain't we? Didn't we just bomb Nigeria last night? Didn't we just do that? What are you talking about? This right here is a totally different Donald Trump than what we had, what we got. Endless wars? Every fucking month we're going to shoot somebody down. Every month. Now we don't want Nigeria. Do you think it's not a war? What the hell you mean you don't think it's a war? Anytime our president takes our forces over to a foreign country and shoots somebody down and shoots into their country and kills civilians, kills regular people, kills the enemy, it's a war. I don't care whether it's 5 days or 1 day. It's still a war. And that's the problem. Y'all like to, give excuses for this bullshit.
When I took office, ISIS controlled more than 20,000 square miles in Iraq and Syria just 2 years ago. Today, we have liberated virtually all of the territory from the grip of these bloodthirsty monsters. Now, as we work with our allies to destroy the remnants of ISIS, it is time to give our brave warriors in Syria a warm welcome home. I have also accelerated our negotiations to reach, if possible, a political settlement in Afghanistan. The opposing side is also very happy to be negotiating. Our troops have fought with unmatched valor, and thanks to their bravery, we are now able to pursue a possible political solution to this long and bloody conflict. In Afghanistan, my administration is holding constructive talks with a number of Afghan groups, including the Taliban.
Yeah, and with the Taliban, we had to pull those people out. And when we pulled the people out, it was negotiated. It was negotiated to happen under Biden. It was negotiated to happen under Biden. So it was going to be terrible either way it went. Hey, Rainbow, it was going to be terrible either way it went. Okay, whether it was under him or not, but he negotiated for it to be under Democrats.
As we make progress in these negotiations, we will be able to reduce our troops' presence and focus on counterterrorism, and we will indeed focus on counterterrorism. We do not know whether we'll achieve an agreement, but we do know that after 2 decades of war, the hour has come to at least try for peace, and the other side would like to do the same thing. It's time.
So Donald Trump is the one who negotiated getting us out of Afghanistan. It is what it is, but it happened under Biden. It happened under him. But I showed this particular 2019 State of the Union address because this showed a different Donald Trump, a negotiable Donald Trump, a Donald Trump that was willing to help, willing to be compromising, right? But little did he know what was to come for him after this. Hold on. Let me add this. This is when the coronavirus came to our shores.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good afternoon. Today is Good Friday, and this Sunday, millions of Christians celebrate Easter and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. At this holy time, we pray that God will heal the sick and comfort the heartbroken and bless our heroes. As American families look forward to Easter, we're reminded that our story ends not in despair, but in triumph and renewal. Very appropriate, isn't it?
And this is when Donald Trump, this is the definition, this was defining his presidency. Because he had been impeached. The Senate had acquitted him. The coronavirus had hit the United States shores. And there was no coherent response from this administration. So we started to have press conferences, coronavirus task force. So this is where we're at. The first task force that we had against the coronavirus. And this was the president who showed up for the task force. There was a task force that was supposed to talk, and Donald Trump got in front of the camera.
I'd like to provide Americans an update on our ongoing efforts in the war against the invisible enemy. Before I do that, I'll have a couple of notes. The United States, in discussions last night with Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and in dealing with OPEC nations, we are trying to get Mexico, as the expression goes, over the barrel. And Mexico is committing to do 100,000 fewer barrels. The president and I spoke last night. We have a great relationship, great friendship. They're helping us very much at the border. They have 27,000 soldiers, Mexican soldiers on our border right now, stopping people from coming into our country as our wall goes up. We're up to about 168 miles of wall. And in speaking with the president, they have a limit. The OPEC nations have agreed to a different limit, reduction of about 23%. So what I thought I would do, and I don't know that it's going to be accepted, we'll find out. The United States will help Mexico along, and they'll reimburse us sometime at a later date when they're prepared to do so.
So you know that never happened, right? He was talking about Mexico is going to pay us for the wall. That never happened. You understand that? That never happened.
And we had a great conversation, but we'll find out how that all works out. As you know, they're trying to get rid of the glut of oil. There's a tremendous glut of oil, and we don't want anything to hurt our incredible industry. We're actually the largest producer in the world now. So we don't want anything to hurt those jobs, those great jobs in Texas and North Dakota and Oklahoma and everywhere. We have a tremendous energy, New Mexico, tremendous energy business, and we want to keep those jobs. So we're working on it. I think eventually it's going to work out, may work out quicker than what most people thought possible, and maybe it won't, but it'll work out eventually. Our experts are monitoring the data from every part of our country having to do with the topic that we're here to discuss. In the midst of grief and pain, we're seeing clear signs that our aggressive strategy is saving countless lives. Tremendous progress is being made, although when you look at some of the numbers, I just spoke with Governor Cuomo, we had a good talk. When you look at those numbers, the numbers of death, people that have died, it's so horrible. Now, on the other side, you have the numbers of beds being used, we were just saying, are substantially reduced. That's usually the sign that it's heading in the downward curve. So
right here is the defining moment of this presidency. Right here, this is one of the first press conferences regarding coronavirus. Right here, you can see Donald Trump actually believes what's going on with the virus. Donald Trump actually believes the data that has come out. Donald Trump actually has put his eggs in that one basket that says that our country is in trouble. He shut down the border. He stopped the traveling. He stopped all the traveling that came to the United States. Okay. He believed it. He believed it. Okay. Until he saw the polling. And then the polling, when you got goofy people on the right, started saying, oh, it's a hoax. It ain't for real. It's X, Y, and Z. You already have a president that believes in conspiracies. God only knows God only knows conspiracies. So this is what we got when we were dealing with the president. He believed it at the beginning. This is him at the beginning of believing it. This was him. And somewhere along the way, he got into goofy territory. This was the wildest moment that we had from this president.
Thank you very much. So I ask Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
Get the right folks who could.
Right. And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds.
Now, this is where people got that phrase where he said inject bleach, right? That's what people took. People took that to mean inject bleach. Although I saw it, but it didn't really click that that's what he was saying. But a lot of people took it that way. And it made him sound really weird saying that on TV.
It sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
So that was what he said. And people took it and ran with it. Although that was the implication. Okay. Nobody said it wasn't. That was the implication.
In our stockpile and medical and military resource to defeat the virus. So I want to just start then with, we're going to answer questions later. We'll have time. I think we have a lot of time today. A lot of people are off, as they should be, Good Friday. So I'll stick around. We'll answer questions later. I want to start with Deborah Birx, please, Dr. Birx, and you can go over some of the numbers we just looked at, and that'd be great. Thank you very much, Deb.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you for outlining how well we are doing in a series of metro areas. What also has been encouraging for those of you who are watching epidemic curves every day, and I'm sure you are, and watching them in log phase, because that's how epidemiologists like to look at their curves. You can see for the first time that in the United States, we're starting to level on the logarithmic phase like Italy did about a week ago. And so this gives us great heart that not only in specific places, but we're starting to see that change. Obviously, a lot of that is driven by the improvement in New York City. Remember, for a long time, they were over 50% of our cases and 50% of our new cases. That has dramatically changed because of the impact of what the citizens of New York and New Jersey and across Connecticut and now Rhode Island are doing to really change the course of this pandemic.
Nobody said that Donald Trump didn't do anything for the pandemic. What they said was he delayed the response of the pandemic. The pandemic, or the people who the virus got to our shores in December. It got to our shores in December, and the president shut the airport and the traveling down. He did do that. But the response, the rest of the response, getting stuff where it needed to be, coordination, all of that was blown out of the water. That's the response that people say was bungled, if you would, right? So they should have hit the ground, because this was an administration that a lot of experienced people were kicked out of, fired out of, all of those things. They didn't have people on hand to actually do all of the work that was needed in order to facilitate a good response. So they figured he didn't do the response that he was supposed to do. And this was the problem. I caught the virus. I caught it twice. Okay. I caught it twice. And then I got the shot. And then I didn't have a problem after that. Okay. But primarily he lost because of his response to the shot. And because his policies didn't help most Americans.
And really change the trajectory of new cases. We're seeing that what many states and metro areas were experienced as twofold and fourfold increases that went to twofold, that now those are going to 8 days between the doubling rate. Watching this every day gives us hope across these metro areas, from New York and New Jersey and all through Denver and, of course, through New Orleans. We still see cases occurring in the Boston area and in Chicago, but their rate of increase seems to be stabilizing. And we really want to call out the work of the mayors of Baltimore and the district and Philadelphia, who have really brought all of their health experts together, and working with their communities are starting to really change the curves in those areas. What we're seeing is we're united in social distancing. And that's been very encouraging to all of us. And it should be encouraging to the healthcare providers that are on the front line, many of which are serving our Americans with such dignity and respect, and ensuring that everybody gets optimal care. And as the president noted, our mortality in the United States is significantly less than many of the other countries when you correct them for our population. And that is really solely the work of our frontline healthcare providers.
So this was the first press conference about coronavirus, and the response was slow, which was another mark against this president. This haunted this president all the way through. But what really haunted this presidency was, last but not least, January 6th.
Of what our witnesses saw on January 6th. Let's see the video, please. But please be advised that it contains graphic images and strong language, which many may find disturbing.
Hey, brother, we're boots on the ground here. We're moving on to Capitol now. I'll give you a boots on the ground update here in a few.
Multiple capital entries. Multiple capital entries. Fuck you, police! Even track, we're still taking metal, sharpened objects, missiles to include bottles and rocks, and hand-thrown chemical-grade fireworks. This is now effectively a riot.
1349 hours declaring it a riot.
Okay, guys, apparently this tip of the spear has entered the Capitol building.
If I give this up, they're going to have to run next to at least this Capitol we can defend. We got to hold what we have.
Take your pins off.
Yeah. The fuck?
Take your pins off.
Where the fuck are they? Crucial testing has blanked. 1033. I repeat, 1033. What's from the Capitol? We have been pranked and we've lost our lives.
Lock the shields! Lock them together! Lock them together! Patriots! Run! Jimmy, get him to the back! Get him to the back! Get him to the back! Let's get some fresh faces up front!
We can't call it liberal media when we have videotape that shows what happened, Patrick Yeager. You're in a cult, so we don't believe you. Michael John Robinson, you're in a cult, so we don't believe you. we gonna believe our eyes. We're not gonna believe somebody saying it's not true. We're gonna believe our eyes. This was all over the news. This is all over the news. When we look back at Donald Trump's first term in office, several things shaped that country. Several things shaped our country. And this was one of those things. This was one of those things. These issues weren't just about disagreements over policy. They were about how he handled crises that deeply affected American people and their lives and the very foundation of our government. Okay. One of the starkest examples was his response to COVID-19. Experts and reviews of the U.S. pandemic response found that the administration frequently undermine public health agencies, spread misinformation. When people say don't believe the liberal media, this is their way of trying to discredit real information. They sideline scientific guidance. Trump himself publicly minimized the threat of the virus, contradicted recommendations from public health officials, promoted unproven treatments, even while discouraging the public from taking the pandemic seriously. This approach weakened the trust in our health authorities. And Fauci, I can't say his name, Fauci, according to many analysts, contributed to the highest rates of illnesses and deaths that might otherwise not have occurred. Okay. For many of these Americans, these were not abstract policy disagreements. These disagreements affected families, schools, hospitals, and the economy at a time when clear leadership was urgently needed. Critics argue that the nation experienced mixed messages. Perhaps no event of his presidency was more dramatic or more widely discussed than this January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. On that day, a violent mob stormed the seat of our Democratic government as Congress was certifying the results of a presidential election. Hundreds of people were injured, police officers were assaulted, and the very symbols of our constitutional order were breached. Multiple reviews, including congressional investigations and law enforcement records, show that Trump repeatedly spread false claims about the election and did not move quickly to stop or condemn this violence. Critics argued that Trump's refusal to equivocally denounce the attack and in some cases praise those involved eroded the norms of peaceful transitions of power that are essential to our democracy today. Furthermore, his pardons of many January 6 participants were condemned by counterterrorism experts and legal scholars as a dangerous precedent that could embolden political violence and undermine the rule of law. These issues matter because stability and trust are not optional in a democratic republic. When political leaders reject election outcomes, minimize violence against law enforcement and institutions, or repeatedly spread misinformation, which the right has a bad habit of doing, they weaken the common ground needed for the nation to function. Okay? This is what has happened to our nation. This is what has happened to our nation. Let me play this.
I'm deeply honored to have worn the cloth of this nation for 43 and a half years. And I'm humbled to have served as the 20th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. But today is not about anyone up here on this stage. It's not about the President, the Secretary of Defense, me, CQ. It's not about us. It's about something much larger than all of us. It's about our democracy. It's about our republic. We are unique among the world's armies. We are unique among the world's militaries. We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We don't take an oath to an individual. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that it's America, and we're willing to die to protect it.
Okay, so a retired four-star general just went on national television and absolutely tore into Donald Trump for politicizing the United States military and treating American troops like props for his personal political agenda. And the language this general used was so furious, so direct, so alarming, that it raises the question many are now asking, is Donald Trump acting like a traitor to the Constitution he swore to defend? I want to be clear about what is happening here because this is not partisan commentary from Democratic politicians. This is a senior military figure, someone who spent decades serving this country at the highest levels of command, warning the American public that Trump's behavior toward the military represents a serious threat to service members, to civilians, and to constitutional order itself. Retired four-star General Barry McCaffrey went on MSNBC and blasted Trump's partisan speech to more than 6,000 United States troops in Japan, saying that if a uniformed officer had delivered that kind of political rally speech, he would have been canned and court-martialed for politicizing the military. Let that sink in. A four-star general is saying that what Trump did would get a military officer fired and criminally prosecuted. But because Trump is the commander-in-chief, there is no mechanism to hold him accountable for the same conduct. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join.
So, lastly, you all make sure you hit the like and share and subscribe button, please and thank you. Lastly, critics also point to policies and rhetoric used in his first term that they believe did not make Americans safer or stronger. Whether it was inconsistent messaging that weakened public health efforts, controversial immigration policies, or strained relationships with international partners, many analysts argue that these decisions deepen divisions and reduce confidence in America's leadership at home and abroad. Taken together, these three things, COVID-19, January attack, and the broader form of governance, the tariffs, the tax cuts, form the core of the argument that Trump was not fit for another term. For millions of Americans, these episodes weren't abstract political debates, because some of these people dismiss that. Okay, some of these people dismiss what Trump did. What grade would I give Donald Trump for his first term? Okay, hold on. They forgive or they forget. Yes, I'm reading my closing statement. For millions of Americans, these episodes weren't abstract political debates. They were defining moments that raised fundamental questions about leadership, responsibility, and our democracy. The whole point was we knew what he was when he got in the office. He changed considerably. So what I did was I went through three or four different algorithms or AIs, and I asked them. I said, now that history is gone and we can rate history, how do we rank Donald Trump's presidency the first term? Okay, so I'm gonna give you the term. The economy, we give him a B. The economy was growing, unemployment was low, and the stock market was strong. That was in the beginning of Donald Trump's presidency. Tax cuts helped businesses, some high earners, some high income earners. However, the deficit ballooned, inequality widened, and the gains were uneven. So we gave him a B. We give him an F for the COVID response. His handling of the pandemic is widely criticized, downplaying the virus, spreading misinformation, failing to coordinate coherent federal responses. This had direct consequences on American lives, and people died because of it. We gave him an F. Leadership and democracy, we give him a D minus. The January 6th attack, repeated attacks on election integrity, and undermining of institutions show serious issues with upholding democratic norms. That's why we see his behavior how it is now. He has no respect for the law. He has no respect for the election integrity. He has no respect for American norms. This is arguably one of the most critical areas of presidential responsibility, and he has failed at that. Foreign policy, some trade deals and defense spending, pressures on allies were seen as wins. But withdrawing from agreements like the Paris Climate Accord and inconsistent diplomacy weakened our U.S. global offense influences, and we have lost standing in the world. Social cohesion and public trust. His rhetoric often inflame divisions domestically, like they do now, creating mistrust between political groups and in government institutions. Overall, we give him his first term with some economic wins, but major failures in leadership, crisis management, and protecting democratic norms heavily outweighs the positives. In layman's terms, he has few successes on paper, but the way he handled crises and the Constitution would make many argue he failed our country. He failed our country in critical ways. And people who did not remember, or people who didn't care to remember, voted him in again. And some of us stayed home. So we give him an overall D. Okay? We understand exactly where we are with this president. So this concludes my presentation for this evening. I appreciate all of you coming out and listening to the Trump first term. This is his first term. We haven't gotten any kind of feedback on the second term, but the first term, if his first term is any indication of what he's going to continue to do, we are going to be in constitutional trouble yet again. Yet again, we're going to be in constitutional trouble because the president has done many things every day, every other day. It's always something different. It's always something new. And the American public doesn't like it. So please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all coming out. We have content like this every day. Please and thank you. I appreciate you. Please hit the like and share. No reason to hate because I didn't do anything that was hateful. I just presented the evidence that was there. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for my mods, Famous and you. And Rainbow, I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I will see you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you.